Hi, and welcome for this third capsule. Today I invite you to visit happiness. Happiness is of course a state of being where there is a good health, there is a good well-being, there is peace, there is harmony with the other. This famous happiness that is described in many traditions as a breathing of the soul. In many traditions we can see that in every epoch, in every culture, most of wise talk about the breathing of the soul. Remember the second capsule, we were talking about this tachyonic field, this field of light, of energy. And when we learn to breathe this light, we effectively reach certain state of being which are amazing and transmute our beings. We could see certain pedagogues like Mikhail talking about the spring of joy, the constant spring of joy. And this type of concept, we see that in Orient, in many cultures, that as soon we reach this essence, we enter in this continued flow of being happy. You know how Dalai Lama insists a lot on that, this art of happiness. And of course we can reach that by doing a kind of work in ourselves, which is what I call the descendant work, from spirit to matter, to materialize the spirits. This is typically what do the lungs. The lungs take the oxygen. For the brain, oxygen is fire, is energy, pure energy that go into the blood and go into the matter, in the bones. So effectively with the lungs, we embody the energy, the spirit, we could say. With the kidney, it's the opposite. We take matters, which is very dense, crystals, and we remove them out of us. So it's the other work. That's the work that I wish to talk with you today. It's work on our roots. It's remove all what is not useful. The kidney remove all the crystal, all the matter which is heavy, which is an heaviness for us, and make us in the darkness, in the heaviness. So it's purify ourselves. And this type of state of happiness that we have talked last time with the tachyonic field, with this ability to breathe light, that through meditation tend to not stay until we don't walk on this route in us. So today I invite you to come from the valley to the summit of ourselves. Last time we talked just about the summit, but usually after that we come back in the valley and we are harassed by typical behavior that are very linked to our subconscious, where we come from. So to work on the kidney area and to dissolve and remove stuff that are no longer useful, and to allow this state of happiness to stay every time, in every level of our life, we have to revisit this different stage that have enroot our life. Because it's important to understand that people interact, 90% of the interaction is the body language. People listen to you, they see that you have good intention, good emotion, good art, but then they to follow just your body language. And your body language has been built with this 4 stage of development of your youth. So it's very important to start to resculpt, to re-pattern this 4 stage of our development, to change really what we emit, the radiation, the emanation of our body language, so we can receive and change the reaction of our environment. Either animals, how they react to us, either how we feel good or not good in certain space, and especially human, how they interact. They constantly read our body language and they interact with that. Either if our mind or our spirit has raised summits and we are completely in another state of being, but we are betrayed by our body language, our home, let's say. We could be an amazing person living in a hut and people are going to just interact with the hut, sadly. So more people love us and they tend to interact with another aspect. But today the idea is to change this hut, to make it fit with your ability of reaching happiness and to impregnate this happiness in yourself. For that, we have to revisit the first stage. The first stage is when we are in the womb. Remember, we talk how in the womb, to survive to our mother, we have to take some stress she's experiencing on us and try to develop certain organs to send her some hormones so she survives to the stress. So to survive our mother, we have to help her to survive to the stress she's dealing with. So we develop certain organs that start to be overactive, and it's really patterning our behavior later in life, our health, and either the way we behave, and we think, and we have emotion too. And of course, it's not us. It's just a reaction that we have been obliged in the obligation to do to survive. So it's linked to a survival mode, what we call the first stage to build our personality, what the Oriental call the ego, the first brick, the first angle of the ego, the physical one. That really determine basically our body and our health. So, and that is not just in the womb. That, of course, during all the early childhood, that ended when we start to change the teeth, so until 6, 8 years old. During this time, we tend to just at 100% nearly react to parents. So if parents, they was really surprised by the pregnancy, we was a weight for them. We was not expecting. We are not the good gender. We are forcing them, setting them in big stress. Of course, we are going to embody all that and have some reaction. It will be. We could enter in all this detail later when we will talk about the pregnancy. But for now, it's important to understand that being not always desired, we haven't been able to develop what normally is supposed to be developed at that time. And normally, we should be worship, we should be adored, we should be respect, to have attention, respect, to grab the attention of our mother directly into the womb. More than 80% of women never dialogue with a baby into the womb. Most of women, this is a way to have a baby because we come from a society based on pleasure, on comfort, and we usually start to really have a good interaction with children when they come bike with you. And so the first part we feel like in jail with our children. So children feel that and tend to feel not loved, esteemed, and develop a very low self-esteem because of that. Some of us have this change, but most of our population is based on a very low self-esteem. When the ancient Greek was telling this moment, the phase of the stage of pornoe. Pornoe, skin to skin, nude to nude, tenderness to tenderness. This connection which is so tender, so close, where you get all the attention of your parents. It is a moment where your parents are your God and Goddess. So if you don't are able to grab the attention of God and Goddess, so you're cursed. Who you are, you're nothing. So very, very, very low self-esteem. Most of us has been built like that, sadly. And the attention was to give treats and to buy a bit the attention, rarely for who we are deeply. So the second phase is a phase called pornoe. The phase called eros by ancient Greek. I like because our society are developed on the Greek philosophy, so it's helped to understand better. Eros, it's in pornoe phase we receive 100%, but in meantime we react 100% too. So we download completely what parents give us to experience. Second phase, we start to give 25% and receive 75%. Eros is the start of business, seduction. And so we try to trade. We do few things with the other so they help us. This is typically our business society. The ratio 20-80, it's in business. We try to do 20% of work and receive 80% of reward. But in the meantime, this is a moment where we develop will, self-confidence, which is not self-esteem. Usually people confuse. Self-confidence is really when you challenge yourself, you develop your will, you challenge yourself in anything, with nature, with elements, with your parents, with friends, with yourself. And you develop courage, because as, say Mark Twain, children was able to do it because they don't know it was impossible. So this is a moment where you have to learn to overpass all the impossible. It's a wonderful moment that develops in you the courage. The courage is really based on not having fear, to face fear, to deal with fear, and to overpass fear. This is how we build courage and how we are strong in life. Most of us, we have compensated the lack of self-esteem in developing this ability to be doer. And we tend to buy our love by doing. And usually to give just 25% to have 80% or 75% of love from the other. So to steal a bit the love of the other. And we are good on that. And we try to give stuff that they have in depth with us. So it is not very healthy in terms of love, but most of people stay stuck in this area, in these moments, because this lack of self-esteem. When it's well developed, it gives courage, strength, strongness to be able to later on overpass you constantly. The third phase is coming when you are a teenager. When you're a teenager, this storm of hormones make that parents are overwhelmed by that. It triggers the memory of the dark channel of the teenager age. And they tend to let them kid on themselves. And this is a terrible mistake, because this is a moment where children need to be accompanied, to be carrying, to have coaching, and to learn just one thing: how to questioning life, how to dialogue, to create an interface. For the ancient Greek, the stage is a stage called Phili. Phili, it's how to make friends. And Phili, it's this 50-50. I present you as I am, and I accept you as you are. But I have to question you. What do you want? What does I want? And I have to be fair. I have to be frank. I have to be honest. But most of people don't know that. They hurt each other, and they start to learn how to lie, to play games. And this is very damageable for us, because we no longer we trick ourselves and we trick the other. So we ended to not develop what we are supposed to develop. It's confidence on other, and to be able to inspire the other. They have confidence in us, and we have confidence in theirs, because we learn to dialogue. We learn to accept the difference. If a boy at that age just wants to bang and have sex, but if a girl knows it, she can accept it. Okay, you have testosterone 10 times more, and so it makes you much more physical. You want to give your energy. Wonderful. Later on, one day you will be able to master that, to make children, to be a strong worker, to save people, because this energy is not just designed to go in the sex, it could go everywhere. It's libido. Libido gives enthusiasm. So it's wonderful. For men, it's super strong. But at the beginning, when you don't master it, a girl, if she don't interrogate what's going on with a guy, she will project how she is. She is in 10 times more of estrogen. And estrogen is emotion. She needs to share her emotion. She has the same thing as a man physically, sexually, but on the level of emotion. She wants someone to listen to her. And they are disappointed. Guys at that time are not good listeners most of the time. And girlfriends are in the same emotion. They want to... So there is a competition of, could someone listen my emotions? and guys feel overwhelmed by this emotion. Girls feel almost overwhelmed by this sexual aggression of guys. If we don't learn to dialogue, to interrogate what's going on with you. Oh, okay, you want just to have sex with me. No problem with that, but I was confused. I think you want to share emotion, because I want to share emotion. So after that, it gives you freedom to accept, or to say, okay, it's no problem with that, you can be yourself, but no, I'm not interested, or we are going to wait. Whatever is your possibilities. But usually we have been super hurt on this level. No coaching, no accompaniment, the difficulty to develop this Phili stage. So difficulty to interact with others. And today when we see how we have this a higher stress come from this level. Fourth stage, you become a young adult. It's time to commit to society. It's time to choose. It's time to orient it yourself. Where my life is going to serve for what? I want to change the world. I want to do a difference. I want to be... it's not to be recognized I want to recognize myself being able doing something useful. Most of people want to be useful and to do a difference without learning, without doing, because we are not exactly clear with what we want to do. Most of the time, we have two solutions. We are forced to follow a path because we have done not be good in school, or too good in school, or because parents oriented us just in one way, or we have been super trained by parents that open the door to everything, and we are good in everything, and we are confused. We don't know what we can do because we can do everything. So in this case, confusion, difficulty to find your way, and again, you haven't learned the right questions. The right question was really, in my sense, in my intelligence, the way I've made, there is tons, there is more than 12, 15 different types of intelligence. If you learn to question your type of intelligence, you know how you can make a difference. You know how you are at the best of yourself to be useful. So for that, 4 stages to heal, 4 stages to revisit and to transform. You have people who have a wonderful childhood, early childhood, adolescence, and be accompanied and oriented in the right way. Sadly, they never hit the following phase, the 5th phase, when the soul is coming, the captain is coming in this vessel, or the owner come in this house, or the sap come in this plant. Wonderful roots, wonderful everything on this tree, trunk and all that, but no flower, no fruit. You have people who have got everything in their personality, but they use it to do their boat to do slavery, or to destroy, or to do negative stuff. You have people who have got miserable early childhood, life, adolescence, but they are like Mother Teresa and they help everybody, or they heal, or they save, or they are heroes, because they have reached the captain. And the captain, of course, can transcend everything. But why oblige your own captain, your one self, as Jung say, or the soul, our mystic says, why do you force her to carry this ball and chain in this 4th stage of development? If you have been lucky, which is very rare to be super developed, and you're able to trigger, to wake up this captain, this soul, this self, of course you are going to do marvel, and you will be lucky to have this good boat to cross the world and to do a difference. But if you haven't been that, either if you are super virtuous, if you violent, have some difficulty, you have learned to first to work on that. So this is about what we wish to do now, to find tips. And again, because the personality is developed on a subconscious mode, either it takes really to be around 25, 30 years old to start to become ourselves. Some people don't reach this self, and they just are like in automatic pilot with their 4th stage, and usually they exploit the world. But if we have this chance to become more aware that there is another part of consciousness, at that time that makes sense to really revisit this 4th stage of development, to make them much better and much useful, to be like a kidney that remove everything which is no longer useful and to redevelop what could be useful. So this is the next step.